I still remember the way the wind cut through my coat that night, like needles sliding under my skin. I had my 3-month-old daughter, Lily, tucked against my chest, wrapped in every blanket I owned, and still she trembled. I was standing on my parents' porch because it was the only place I knew to go after losing my job that morning. My apartment building had shut off the heat due to unpaid bills, and the landlord had taped a warning on my door. Final notice. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. I swallowed my pride and knocked. My dad opened the door halfway, like he was protecting the inside of the house from me, as if poverty was contagious. His eyes went straight to the blanket in my arms, not with worry, but with irritation. "What now?" he muttered. "Dad, please," I said, adjusting Lily as she whimpered. "I just need a warm place for her to sleep tonight. Just one night. You don't have to deal with anything else." My mom appeared behind him, her voice sharp like a kitchen knife. "You always need something. Why don't you teach yourself to survive instead of running here every time life taps you on the shoulder?" "It didn't tap," I whispered. "It hit. I lost my job. The heat's off. She's cold." My mom's eyes rolled so hard I thought she'd actually pull a muscle. "Maybe you should have thought of that before having a baby you can't maintain." My dad snorted. "Maybe she needs to learn what consequences feel like." I tightened my hold on Lily. Her tiny fingers were ice. "Please, just let me inside." Mom opened the door wider, just enough for the warmth to touch my face, and then slammed it shut again. "Standing here crying isn't going to teach you responsibility. You need to learn your place." "Mom!" Her voice came through the door like poison. "Leave the baby outside for a bit. Maybe then you'll understand what hardship really is." My breath froze in my chest. "You want to teach me a lesson by letting my baby freeze?" Dad barked out a laugh. "She's not made of glass. A little cold won't kill her. You always exaggerate, just like when you couldn't breathe as a kid. Drama queen." My daughter started to cry harder, her voice thin and desperate. I begged again. "Let us in, please. She's freezing." Dad answered with a sound I can only describe as disgust. "Then go home. Or figure it out. We're not your safety net." My sister, Brittany, peeked out from behind them, already wearing a smug grin. 30 years old, jobless, spoiled to the bone, wrapped in a fluffy, heated robe like a queen. "Mom, just close the door. I can't sleep with all this crying. Tell her to shut the baby up somewhere else," Mom said loudly, so I'd hear every word. "Your sister's comfort matters, not her situation." Then the porch light shut off, and the door locked. I stood there, shaking, the cold burning every part of me, because I didn't know where else to go. The wind whipped so hard it rattled the porch rails, and Lily's cries got weaker, more desperate. I pressed her closer, tried blocking the wind, tried warming her with my hands, my breath, my body. It wasn't enough. I pounded the door. No answer. I begged. No answer. I screamed their names. Lights stayed off. My parents, my own parents, were inside laughing at a TV show while my daughter cried in the cold. I don't know how long I stood there, but the moment I felt Lily's cries fade into soft, exhausted whimpers, something inside me snapped like a dry branch under a boot. I wasn't the same person anymore. In that moment, something cold, colder than the wind, settled inside my chest. A clarity I had never felt before. These people weren't family. They were parasites. They fed on my pain, my desperation, my fear. I wrapped the blanket tighter around Lily, kissed her freezing forehead, and whispered, "I swear on my life, you will never suffer because of them again." I turned from the porch and walked into the storm. I didn't look back. Not at the house. Not at the warm windows. Not at the people who decided my baby's suffering was a joke. But as I walked to the bus stop, I kept hearing my mom's voice echoing in my skull. "You need to learn your place." I did learn, just not the lesson she wanted. because that was the night I stopped being their doormat and became something they never expected, someone capable of tearing their world apart, and I already knew exactly where to start. With the thing they cared about more than me, more than Lily, more than anything, their money. I didn't sleep that night. Lily finally warmed up once we made it to a women's shelter across town, one of those places you never imagine yourself ending up in until life corner cuts you directly into reality. The staff wrapped her in warm blankets and gave her formula while I sat in the hallway shaking, partly from the cold, mostly from rage. Every time I blinked, I saw my mother's face as she shut the door. Every time Lily whimpered, I heard my dad saying, "A little cold won't kill her." They thought they taught me a lesson. They thought humiliation would keep me obedient. They thought suffering would make me come crawling back for their approval. Instead, it made me sharper. The next morning, after confirming Lily was stable and warm, I walked to my friend Ava's apartment. She lived in a tiny studio above a barber shop, but she hugged me like her home was a palace. "Tell me everything," she demanded. I told her, all of it, every ugly detail. Ava stared at me like she was looking at a crime scene. "Your parents left a newborn outside? In winter? On purpose? And they're just living their lives? Like nothing happened." Ava's fists clenched. "Then they're not ready for what's coming." I didn't even know what she meant until she opened her laptop and spun it toward me. The screen showed a tab labeled County Property Records, Search Names. "Ava, what are you doing?" She shrugged. "You said they care about money more than anything, so hit them where it hurts. You don't need fists, you need information." It was the first time in days I felt the air return to my lungs. We spent hours digging. We found everything. My parents weren't just comfortable, they were drowning in assets. A second home they pretended belonged to family friends. A restaurant investment they kept off the books. A retirement account my dad bragged about to his friends, but lied about to everyone else. And this one made me choke. A renovation loan still open with my name listed as an emergency cosigner from years ago when I was too naive to read paperwork. They had everything, and they still wouldn't open the door for their granddaughter. "Freeze them," Ava said. "All of it." "What do you mean?" "You know that loan in your name? Call the bank. Tell them you believe your signature was used without permission. They'll suspend all connected accounts while they review it." I stared at her. "You're serious?" "It's legal. It's their fault for using your information. They don't get to play house with your name." I felt something hot and electric burn in my chest. Power. Real power. The power they said I would never have. I dialed the bank, explained the situation calmly, requested a fraud investigation, provided proof of my old address, ID, everything they asked for. Within hours, their system flagged the account, and every bank account linked to that loan, including the secret investment account and their renovation fund, went into automatic temporary freeze pending investigation. Ava and I watched the email confirmation arrive. My heart didn't race. It steadied. "This is just the beginning," she whispered. But the real shock came later that evening when my phone buzzed with a text from my mom, the first message from her in months that wasn't an insult or order. "Mom, why are all our accounts locked? What did you do?" I didn't reply. A minute later, another one. "Mom, fix this now. You're ruining our lives. Our lives, not mine, not Lily's, theirs." I locked my phone. I was done being their puppet. The next morning, I filed a formal report that my name had been used without consent on financial documents. I also requested a hold on property transfers involving my signature. It wasn't revenge yet. Not even close. It was just a pause button. But my parents didn't like pauses. By noon, they were blowing up my phone with calls non-stop. I ignored everyone. Then came the call from my sister Brittany. She didn't even say hello. She screamed, "What did you do? Mom is losing it. Dad is pacing like he's going to explode. They can't access anything." I breathed deeply. "They left my baby in the cold." "So, what?" she snapped. "Babies cry. Stop being dramatic." It was in that moment I realized they didn't just hurt me. They genuinely believed I deserved it. That Lily deserved it. "I'm not fixing anything," I said slowly. "And I'm not done." "Done?" she spat. "What else could you possibly do?" I smiled even though she couldn't see it. "Oh, you'll see." And I hung up. I went back to the shelter. Lily was warm and sleeping soundly, her cheeks soft and pink again. I watched her breathing, tiny and peaceful, and something inside me settled. This was the only person I owed anything to. And the people who threw her into the cold, they were about to feel a cold they'd never recover from. Not poetic, not symbolic. Real. Consequences. And before the week was over, they would be tasting the dirt they fed me with their words, their actions, their cruelty. I was ready. The message that finally made me answer their calls wasn't the screaming or the threats or the guilt-tripping paragraphs calling me an ungrateful stain. It was the one my dad sent at 6 a.m. "Dad, we can't buy groceries. They closed the restaurant account. Fix it. Now. Groceries." For the people who left my infant crying in freezing air, to teach me a lesson. I didn't reply. I drove. Not to their house. To the county clerk's office. Ava came with me, holding the folder of documents we'd collected, printed emails, bank confirmations, the loan paperwork with my forged signature, and photos I'd taken of Lily outside that night, tiny hands clenched, face red and freezing. The clerk took one look at the file and asked, "Do you want to file an injunction?" I nodded. Yes, on every shared property or financial connection tied to my name. "Are you prepared for what that means?" she asked. I looked her straight in the eye. They weren't prepared when they left my baby outside. It took an hour, 1 hour for every legal domino to fall, 1 hour for every asset involving my signature to become locked behind a county-level investigative freeze, 1 hour for everything my parents shielded, lied about, and bragged about to slip through their fingers. And right as we walked out of the building, my phone finally rang with the one phrase I had waited my entire life to hear. "Please, help us." My father's voice cracked like he'd swallowed glass. I didn't say anything, so he tried again. We made a mistake, okay? Your mother didn't mean to shut the door. We thought you'd just go around the block. You're overreacting." Overreacting. They always went back to that word. I finally spoke. "You didn't shut the door on me. You shut it on a newborn. She was fine. She could have died." Silence. Then my mom jumped in on speaker, her voice shaking, not with guilt, but anger. "Enough drama, Claire. You fix what you broke. Do you hear me? We are starving because of you." I smiled. "Now you know how it feels." What? That night, while Lily cried in the cold, I was starving for help, for warmth, for basic humanity. You shut the door. Now the door is shut on you. My dad's voice dropped to a begging whisper. "Please, sweetheart, just fix the accounts. We'll talk after." "No," I said. "You'll talk now." "What do you want?" he snapped. "First," I said, "you put in writing that you used my name on documents without my consent." My mom yelled, "We will not incriminate ourselves." "Okay," I said calmly. "Then the county will do it for you. Goodbye." "Wait!" my dad screamed. I heard papers shuffling, my mother cursing under her breath, then my father panting as he wrote. When the photo came through, his shaky handwriting admitting the fraud, I forwarded it directly to the county investigator. Step 1. Then I leaned back in the shelter's lobby, watching Lily nap on my chest, while Ava sipped her coffee beside me. "What's step 2?" she whispered. I already knew. I drove to my parents' house that evening. I wasn't there to talk. I was there to collect. My old baby clothes, my old documents, my things they claimed belonged to my sister now. And Lily's stroller they'd thrown on the porch like garbage. They opened the door the moment they heard the car. My mom pushed past my dad, makeup streaked, hair frizzy, eyes wild. "You can't do this! We're family!" "You taught me what family means," I said, "and now I live by your definition." "You ruined us!" she shrieked. "No," I replied, I just removed myself from the list of people you're allowed to ruin. My dad tried to grab my arm. You fix those accounts, Claire. That's an order. I stepped back. Order? I don't take those anymore. He lunged, but Ava stepped in behind me, raising her phone. Touch her, and this video goes straight to the investigator. My dad froze. My mom's face collapsed, not with heartbreak, but with fear of losing control. I walked toward the living room, grabbed the box of my belongings they'd shoved under the table, and headed out. My mother screamed after me. You can't leave us like this. How are we supposed to live? I turned around, looking her straight in the eyes. The same way you expected my baby to survive the cold. Figure it out. Then I shut the door. Hard. A week later, the county's investigation ruled in my favor. My name was fully removed from their accounts and property. Their renovation loan was thrown back onto them at triple penalties. Their credit tanked. Their investment froze permanently due to fraud red flags. Their second home was listed for repossession. And the restaurant, their partners pushed them out, unwilling to deal with legal baggage. They finally understood what loss felt like. Real loss, not symbolic, not poetic. Consequences. My phone buzzed one last time. Dad, please. We have nothing left. Just lift the freeze. We're begging you. I blocked the number. I didn't need closure from them. Lily was sleeping peacefully in her crib in Ava's spare room, warm, loved, safe. And that was everything. I kissed her forehead and whispered the only line that mattered. We're done with them, baby. For good. And for the first time in my entire life, I felt warm. Not from a coat, from freedom. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.